So the movie started with a little girl, Eve, in the police station, injured. She was holding a ballerina toy and remembering her family, and that's when it went into flashbacks. In the flashbacks, we saw Eve on an island with her dad. They were hiding from a cult group. It turns out Eve's whole family was part of the cult, and her dad was trying to rescue them, but the cult people killed his wife and older daughter. The danger wasn't over because the cult was still looking for them, accusing them of treachery, and wanted to kill them. While the dad was thinking about all this, their villa was attacked. The cult people first attacked the guards outside and killed them, then got inside the house. Eve's dad was mentally prepared for this, so he immediately started fighting the guards and killing them. It turned out he was also a very skilled assassin, so killing was his job. Fighting like this, they moved forward, and he managed to make some smoke happen, so the cult people couldn't see them. And Eve's dad quickly took Eve to hide in a room, and right then, many more cult members arrive here. And along with them, the cult leader, the Chancellor, also arrives. Eve's dad was killing them one by one, but the number of cult members was very high, and all of them together finally captured Eve's dad. After capturing him, the Chancellor comes before him and says, "First, you married a girl from our cult, and after that, you betrayed us. You deserve punishment. We have already killed your wife and elder daughter, but if you want Eve to stay alive, then take your own life. Otherwise, I will kill both you and your daughter." Eve's dad loved his daughter's life very much, which is why he started to kill himself, but just then, his hidden daughter, meaning Eve, came out and forbade her dad from doing so. Upon hearing his daughter's voice, Eve's dad also threw the gun and started fighting everyone here. In this situation, the Chancellor leaves from here, and this fight continues. A man from the cult, while knocking Eve's dad down and stabbing him with his knives, was just about to kill Eve's dad. But just then, Eve came from behind, fired a shot at him, and killed that man. After which Eve came out of this villa with her injured dad. As soon as those two came out, a massive explosion occurred here because, before coming outside, Eve's dad had already planted many bombs in this house. Because of these bombs, all the cult people were killed, and the Chancellor, who was leaving from here, thought that Eve and her dad were also killed in this same blast. Therefore, he leaves the island altogether. Eve's dad's condition was very bad. Sitting by the seashore, Eve was waiting for some help, but just then her dad apologized to her, and he died right there. A lot of time passes, and the police arrive here, and seeing the injured Eve, these people take Eve to the police station. This is exactly the same scene that was shown at the very start of the movie. Here in a little while, a man arrives who tells Eve, "I am your dad's uncle, and your dad was a very good man. He wanted to give you a very good life, the responsibility of giving which is now mine." Saying this, he takes Eve from there and brings her to a theater, where a teacher was teaching ballerina dance to all the children, and a little while later, Eve is introduced to the director of this place. The director asks that man a strange question. Does Eve know everything about her mom and dad? The man answers in the negative, and the director tells Eve, "Your dad's entire childhood was spent right here, and I think you will also enjoy living here." Eve also agrees to stay there, after which that man leaves from there while giving Eve a coin, saying, "Whenever you need my help, I will always be ready." After this, Eve meets the teacher here, who tells Eve that there are two types of training here. One for ballerina dance, and one for killing people. Using the example of the coin held in Eve's hand, they tell Eve that every coin has two sides. A person should know how to fight and also how to survive. Eve likes this idea and agrees to take both types of training. And just from here, 12 years of time passes in the movie, and now we are shown Eve, who was performing ballerina dance here. The ballerina training was so tough that blood even started coming out of Eve's feet, but she was still spinning. Here, her teacher says to her, "Go and get your feet bandaged." Meanwhile, we see Eve's friend, who tells Eve to stop training for now, but Eve says, "I want to be the best ballerina dancer just like you." So that girl replies to her, "You are already a very good assassin, and you should focus more on that training." A little while later, we are shown Eve's assassin training, where she fights many boys, and along with fighting, they are taught how to operate all kinds of guns. Today, Eve had to fight many boys, but Eve was losing every fight. Then her coach said to her, "What are you doing today?" Eve replied, "All of them are much stronger than me." So her coach said, "The reason for your defeat is not that you are less powerful. The reason for your defeat is that you have already accepted defeat just by looking at them, and you are not believing in yourself." Hearing this from the coach, a new passion awakens inside Eve. And trusting herself, she knocks down boys who are many times stronger than her. This training continues like this, and 2 months pass. Eve finds out that her best friend had been sent away from here. She goes and talks to the director about this. So the director explains that those who cannot become good assassins, we send them ahead to give them ballerina dance training. She was not a good assassin like you, so Eve says, then why aren't the good assassins given work? I feel that I have become a good assassin and I should get my assignment. The director says, all right, but before this you will have to pass some tests. In the first test, it is shown that Eve was made to sit in front of a girl. It turns out that the girl sitting in front of her was also a student of Roma, meaning a girl just like Eve who was taking training here. But she had disobeyed some things, which is why she was sat in front of Eve to be killed. Yes, but then she didn't have the courage to shoot her. Meanwhile, that girl also got her gun ready and was about to attack Eve. But before she could, Eve remembered the time she showed courage to save her dad by killing a man. Gathering that same courage again, she also killed that girl and saved her own life. After that, some time passes, and we see Eve with a very skilled assassin named John in Roma. Eve had heard a lot about him, so she immediately went to him and asked for tips to become an assassin too. Seeing Eve, John said, "You've already become an assassin, I've seen it, but take my advice and run away from here." Hearing this, she actually asked John why he ran away from there. But John left without giving her an answer. Anyway, after some time, we see that Eve finally gets her first mission. She had to save a girl from a gangster who was coming to a club to kill her. Eve didn't have to kill anyone there, so they gave her rubber bullets. This mission was also a test for Eve. If she passed, she'd become an assassin. Now Eve goes to that club and spots the girl she has to protect. Before she could say anything to the girl, she sees the gangster arrive. So she goes to him and tells him to leave the girl alone or there'll be consequences. But the gangster pushes Eve aside and goes toward the girl, and that's when his men start fighting Eve. Eve fights bravely, using her rubber bullets to injure them. After knocking all of them down, she goes back to the gangster, who is now dragging the girl out of the club. Eve pulls the girl away, and that's when a fight breaks out between her and the gangster. This gangster was much stronger and more professional than Eve expected, and he was getting the upper hand, but Eve fights back fast, also using her rubber bullets to cause some damage. And finally, she pins him against a wall. Leaving him there, surprised and alive, she rescues the girl and they escape. In this way, Eve passed her final test to become an assassin. Now that she had finally become an assassin of Roma, the same tattoo was made on her body that was on her father's body. After this, the story shows that Eve completed another mission by killing a man. In this fight, she herself was hit by a bullet, which she removed with her own hands. Afterward, when she takes a photo of this dead man and sends it to her client, she receives a lot of money. Now, as she heads out from there, it is shown that Eve had earlier fought this man's guards as well and had killed all of them too. While Eve was leaving in her car, she got into an accident with another car. The man from that car comes out and begins to fight with Eve. She was faster than most people, but the person in front of her also appeared to be a professional fighter. Their fight continues for quite a while, but finally, Eve succeeds in killing this man. After killing him, she notices a mark on this man's hand and remembers that the people who killed her dad in her childhood also had this same mark on their hands. Who were these people after all? A curiosity to know about these people arises in Eve's mind. She cuts off this man's hand, goes to the director and asks her, "Who is this?" Looking at this hand, the director asks Eve, "What do you want?" Eve explains that these very people killed her dad and she wants to take revenge for her father. The director tells her, "I do not want you to go after these people. This is a cult group, and your mom was also a part of this cult. All the people of this cult are also assassins just like us, and there is a deal between Roma and that cult group. Neither will Roma's assassins kill their assassins, nor will the assassins of that cult cause harm to these people." Now, without saying anything, Eve leaves from there and goes to a hotel where that same man from the start of the movie was, the one who had brought Eve to Roma. She wanted to know about the cult from this man, but the man says, "Don't do this. Those people are very dangerous." So now, returning his coin to this man, Eve says, "I need your help." Just as this man had promised, whenever Eve needed his help, he would definitely help her. Now, because this time had come, that man also gets ready to help Eve, and by making a call, he extracts a person's entire data and gives it to Eve. He explains that this man is the son of the Chancellor, meaning the leader of that cult, and his name is Daniel. Today, Daniel is staying in this very hotel. You can talk to him and find out the whereabouts of his dad and his cult. Now, it turns out that someone had also placed a bounty to kill Daniel, that too of 400,000. And to kill him, many assassins were hidden inside this very hotel, among whom was a girl named Lena. Now, Eve goes inside Daniel's room by taking the back route. Daniel pulls a gun the moment he sees her, but Eve tells him, "I have not come here to kill you. I just need to find out the whereabouts of your dad from you, because your dad had my dad killed, and I want to take revenge on him." Here, Daniel also tells her, "My dad is part of a cult. and I am also running away from his cult. That is why many people are after me to kill me, but I just want to live my life freely with my daughter." These people were just talking when, in the meantime, an attack occurred on Daniel's room, and many people started trying to kill Daniel. Along with Daniel, Eve also supports him here and starts fighting all the goons. Here, Daniel asks Eve for help to save his daughter. Just as Eve is rescuing her and bringing her downstairs, many more guards appear in front of her, and Eve begins to fight them one by one. On the other hand, it is shown that the people Daniel was fighting eventually shot him. Here, someone also strikes Eve from behind on her head, knocking her unconscious. Eve is captured here, and that child is taken away from here to that very same cult, to the Chancellor, meaning the leader of the cult. When Eve regained consciousness, there were many people in front of her, and there were also many people standing alongside her in punishment. They were being punished for fighting in this hotel. But Eve said, "I did not come here to kill anyone. I only came to meet Daniel." As soon as they hear this, the other people standing with her are killed right there, and she is let go. After this, Eve goes to another man who used to illegally provide a lot of guns to assassins. She knew that this man would know about the cult, but this man did not tell her anything about the cult. Eve was just looking at the weapons here when a lot of people launched an attack, and these were the cult's own people. To save herself here, Eve attacks the cult members with a grenade and blows them all up. In this entire attack, Eve and that man who owned this weapons store survive. It turns out that the owner of the weapons store also hated that cult and wanted to destroy it, but he was also afraid of them. However, seeing Eve's passion, he gives her the location of the cult, and Eve leaves for that place without wasting any time. In the end, she also receives a call directly from the director, who warns her saying, "You are going to mess with the people we have an enmity with." But ignoring her words, Eve goes into this city of the cult, and as soon as she enters this city, she realizes that every single person living here is a member of the cult. First of all, Eve goes inside a cafe where she sees the exact same ballerina dance toy that her dad had bought for her in her childhood. Her memories were connected to this place. She was just looking at all of this when she suddenly noticed that everyone was beginning to leave from there, and a man came and launched an attack on her. She fights this man, although that man was many times stronger than her. While fighting, a gun eventually comes into her hand, with which she shoots this man, and right then, the chef of this place also starts fighting with Eve like a professional fighter. One after another, many people arrive to fight her, and she makes her way out of here by killing everyone. A man who was keeping an eye on this entire fight immediately tells the Chancellor that Eve has still survived. So now a girl named Lena comes to capture Eve. Knocking Eve unconscious from behind, she brings her to the Chancellor. When Eve regained consciousness, the Chancellor asked, "Who on earth are you and what do you want? Don't you know that we have a contract with Ruska Roma and you cannot cause us harm?" So Eve reveals, "I have not come from Ruska Roma. Instead, I am a member from right here." She shocks the Chancellor by telling him the names of her mom and dad. The Chancellor had assumed that Eve must have died years ago, but Eve was now sitting alive right in front of him. The Chancellor had assumed all along that Eve had come to save Daniel's daughter, but now he realizes that this matter is much bigger than that. Lena, also astonished, now asks the Chancellor, "Who on earth is this girl and whose names is she taking?" So the Chancellor reveals that she has come to take revenge on him for her parents' deaths, that she is her sister, and that she used to be a part of this cult before. Hearing this leaves Lena in complete shock. While these people were still talking, Eve escapes from that house by taking down everyone in her way and runs into another house. Lena quickly dashes after her and stops her. Eve now had a gun aimed at Lena. That is when Lena told her, "I am your elder sister." Eve said, "How can I believe that? Dad and I were told that you were killed years ago." So Lena explains, "No, they only killed my mom. I am still alive." They were just talking when the men outside asked the Chancellor whether they should kill both of them. The Chancellor answers in the affirmative, and the assassins standing outside bomb the house. Lena is very badly injured in this attack, leaving her on the verge of death. When Eve comes near her, Lena tells her, "You must take revenge for Mom and Dad's deaths." We see that Eve was also injured, but at Lena's words, she stands up with renewed courage and a fresh passion. She picks up a sword lying right there and decides to make her way out. Just then, a large number of assassins arrive, whom she fights all by herself. Cutting someone's hand, slitting someone's neck, or stabbing someone in the stomach, she was moving forward by killing everyone while crying. By now, even the Chancellor had grown terrified of Eve. Therefore, he calls the director of Ruska Roma and says, "If you want to maintain the contract between us, then first of all, get this girl out of here before 12. Otherwise, things will end very badly." The director also knew that the consequences of this threat could be severe. That is why she places a bounty to kill Eve on John, meaning Ruska Roma's best assassin. In a short while, John arrives there, and the Chancellor has an announcement made throughout his entire city stating, "Two assassins have entered our cult. Anyone who spots the girl should kill her, but no one is to kill the boy." Here, when John comes in front of Eve, he says to her, "I am giving you a chance. Run away from here before 12. If you do not leave from here, I will be forced to kill you." Now, because everyone was keeping an eye on both of them, John knew this. That is why he begins to put on a drama of fighting with Eve, and repeatedly keeps telling Eve, "You have a chance. Save your life and get out of here." Then Eve says to John, "I will not leave from here without taking revenge for my dad's death. The Chancellor had my dad killed, and I will only stop once I have killed him, and after that I will end this war." John sees that there were still exactly 28 minutes left until 12. He says, "Fine, you have 28 minutes. If you accomplish this task in 28 minutes before 12, then I will let you go. But if your work is not finished by 12, I will be forced to kill you." Now Eve quietly leaves from there and taking the back route, killing all of the Chancellor's guards, taping someone's mouth or knocking someone unconscious with a strike to the head. She wanted to reach the Chancellor. She also shot all the guards who came along the way, so because of this, the Chancellor also got the news that John had betrayed them. He has spared that girl, who now wants to kill the Chancellor. He makes an announcement in the city once again that now, whether it is the girl or the boy, whoever appears in front of anyone should be killed. Because of this, a lot of people were coming in front of Eve to kill her, but Eve kept killing everyone, and just then Eve reached a place where there were a lot of weapons. From here, she finds a flamethrower gun, and with this, her work becomes much easier. Moving forward, she keeps burning everyone, and right then, she faces a man who also had the same flamethrower gun. Before he could kill her with the flamethrower, Eve, to save herself, jumps through shattering glass into a building located behind her. And here she gets her hands on a fire brigade pipeline, with the pressure of which she knocks down the assassin in front of her, and also completely extinguishes the fire of his weapon. In the end, Eve's fire brigade water also runs out. She also falls down, so now that man comes and tries to kill Eve again. But to save Eve from the other side, John shoots right at the flamethrower gun present in his hand, causing that flamethrower gun to explode like a bomb, and that man dies while Eve survives. Eve knew John had done this, so Eve also gestures to him to say thank you. Now the Chancellor knew that his survival was not just difficult but impossible, so he tries to escape from here taking his son's daughter. But before he could take the car out of this city, Eve comes in front of his car and stops this car by shooting the driver. Now she tells the Chancellor to come out. The Chancellor also comes out and she tells the Chancellor, "I have killed all your people. After this, I do not want to kill anyone besides you." John sees that there were only 2 minutes left until 12, and now he was feeling that he would be forced to kill Eve, but even before that, Eve shoots the Chancellor and kills him. As soon as it strikes 12, call from the director comes to John and she asks, "Did you kill Eve?" So John says, "I didn't even need to because the war is over." Eve has killed the Chancellor himself. We see that Eve is leaving from here taking Daniel's daughter, and now a time from some period later is shown. A twist is revealed in the movie that Daniel was still alive, with whom Eve had now left his daughter, and in this way, she had fulfilled her promise made to Daniel by saving his daughter. After this, Eve is shown to us a few days later in a ballerina hall. Her childhood friend was going to perform a ballerina dance here, whom she had come to watch. All the assassins sitting here receive a message that a massive bounty has been placed to kill Eve. This message had reached Eve as well, so Eve quietly leaves from here. And the movie ends with this very mystery of whether Eve will even be able to survive or not. So this was the explanation for the movie Ballerina. If you liked this explanation, please subscribe to our channel, like our video, and comment the name of the movie you want me to explain next.